everybody, it's Chris Eads, and mine is Wootini here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Well, this past week, I finally realized my lifelong dream, well, not lifelong, but a very long dream, to see Sophie Ellis-Bextor live in concert. It took over 20 years, but she finally did a little US tour, only a handful of dates, but one of them was in New York City, and I was able to get tickets. Now, granted, I did not get them when they went on sale. I had to go through StubHub, so I ended up paying probably over twice what they cost if I had gotten them directly, but it wasn't too much, and it was enough. It wasn't so expensive. I mean, the ticket was fine. Like, he wasn't overcharging for the ticket, but then StubHub adds like almost $40 worth of fees, so it made it very expensive in the end, but it was still worth, that was still something, it was a price I was willing to pay. It was over $100, but it was worth it to see Sophie live in concert. And it's funny because I, like everyone else, I'm like taking pictures with my camera, and the lens just makes it look so far away. Like, I got there early enough that I was up close. I was like maybe 5 or 6 people deep from the stage, and it was great. I could see her, like she was like right there in front of me, and it was amazing. But then I go to take a picture and it's like she's all the way over there. But it was a great show, and she sang all her hits, and she sang some deep cuts. And at one point she did Dancing Queen, which is one of her, because it was basically a stripped down version of her Kitchen Disco tour that she did all over the UK. And it was so great. And she did her cover of Dancing Queen, and of course she did Like a Prayer as well. That's another one. I love hearing Like a Prayer sung by someone with a beautiful voice. And then I was not expecting for her, during a medley, she actually sang my favorite ABBA song, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. So amazing. I lost my shit. It was funny though, because at the end, and she played for a good almost 2 hours, I think. So at the end, she was like, I didn't know who was going to come to my New York City gig. Touring America, I didn't know who was going to show up. And I wouldn't have been surprised if it was a bunch of people who were there to hear just one particular song. But y'all seem to know my entire catalog, so you're all real fans. And then she went in to do that one song, which was from like 2021, but now it's had this resurgence because of that movie and the new dancing to it, and she sang Murder on the Dance Floor. A little bit confused, because I was like, but wouldn't that be her final encore? It was not. It was the end of the show. And then I thought, well, is this the end of the show? Is she not gonna like leave and then pretend that it's over and then come back because we applauded so much that she'll do another couple songs? I hate that. So she left, and then she came back out for an encore, and I was like, oh wow, I expected that to be her encore finale, but it was not. She sang New York City Lights for obvious reasons, and then she sang Bittersweet, and then she left the stage again, but then she reappeared up in the balcony where she sang a beautiful a cappella version, just her and a guitarist with an acoustic guitar, and she sang a beautiful a cappella version of A Pessimist Is Never Disappointed, which was from like her way back at the beginning of her career. And no microphone either. So you couldn't really hear the beginning because everyone was like, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And everyone had to quiet down so that we could hear her beautiful voice just singing with no microphone and all through the hall, and it was glorious. Such a good show. So totally worth the money, and my overpriced t-shirt, and I will treasure it always. For as long as I can remember it, which with my memory, who knows how long that'll be. I also went to the movies. I went to see The Watchers, which unfortunately was kind of disappointing. The trailer looked cool and interesting, And the premise is terrific. It's about this young woman who gets lost in a forest in Ireland and ends up stuck with some other people in this room with a big window in it, and every night the watchers come and they watch them, and you can't leave the room at night because you'll be killed. And it's a great premise, and there's some wonderful like imagery and great atmosphere, and it's like, ooh. Unfortunately, the script is not great. She's adapting a book. It's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter who wrote and directed, and I feel like just like her dad, she needs someone to give her a script that's better. And then like they can direct, they're not so good at the writing part. So I feel like the book might be better because you'd get more out of the book than you would in this stripped down movie version where it doesn't bother to establish any of the characters. Like, Mina, played by Dakota Fanning, is the only one who gets any kind of backstory. It's not great, but it's something, so you understand her character and why she acts the way she does. But then you have the old woman who is been there for a while and she knows all the rules and she just knows stuff. That's her character. Then there's this other one, and Kira, her entire character, I can't believe I remember her name. Her entire character is she has a husband. That's her character trait. That's it. You know nothing else about her. But that's still better than Danny, who is literally just Danny. And he's cute. You know literally nothing about him. So you don't care about the characters, so you don't care what happens to them, so it coasts on atmosphere for a while, and the mystery of the watchers. Unfortunately, once you leave that room, everything just totally falls apart, and the last half hour, it's just a mess, and like, it's too much explanation, and then it becomes lame, and it's like, I don't know if she was going for like some kind of symbolism here and there or what, but it just completely fell apart at the end, and I'm like, ugh. So I can't really recommend it, but it'll probably be on Shudder in a month or two, so watch it if you want, but I warned you, it's disappointing. As for games, as a LEGO fan and a Horizon Zero Dawn fan, I was naturally intrigued when Sony dropped a trailer for LEGO Horizon Adventures. Unfortunately, I felt like the humor in the trailer was kind of not great. It was very forced and like not actually funny most of the time. And the humor is why you would play a LEGO game, you know? And also, it's weird because I feel like you could do Lego Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Harry Potter because everyone knows those things and you can make those references and jokes and turn things upside down and do ironic, you know, and you can play with the story and it's funny. Whereas with Horizon, I'm like, people don't know Horizon. Like, how are you going to make that funny? I don't know. I haven't played a Lego game in forever. I did, they had the DC Supervillains Lego game was free with PlayStation Plus, so I added it to my library, but I never downloaded it or tried to play it yet. It's just sitting there. So I don't think I'm going to play this either. I don't know. Probably not. Certainly not when it first comes out at full price. I would wait for a sale. Or, better yet, it'll end up free with PlayStation Plus at some point, so I'll probably end up waiting for that. There's plenty of other things to play. I was not playing a lot of Disney Dreamlight Valley until The Forgotten was like, hey, you know, I like visiting the valley, but maybe you could make a room for me in your house and decorate it for me so that I have a place to stay when I'm in the valley. And I'm like, that would be great, except I've only got the 4 rooms in my house. And I didn't want to, like, lose one of them to him. And I was like, I don't want to lose my fancy room. I love my fancy room. And I don't want to lose my kitchen because I use it all the time. And I'm like, I guess I could lose my bedroom/bathroom. But, so I was like, this is kind of annoying. And then I sort of remembered Scrooge way back at the beginning when you first start upgrading your house, I thought he mentioned something about, because it's not like Animal Crossing where you have the 4 rooms, but then you also have an upstairs and a basement. You don't have an upstairs or a basement. But then I thought I remembered hearing something about an upstairs. And there's, this elevator. And I'm like, how do you use the elevator to get more floors or whatever? And sure enough, I looked online, and you can totally add floors. You can add like 20 floors. It's absurd. With 4 rooms each, or something like that. So it's like insane. So I went in, and, the upper floors are going to be super expensive, but right now I'm just adding 1 floor. It didn't cost much. And I added 1 room, didn't cost much. I have a lot of money anyway. So I was like, great. So I added a new floor, and then I added a room, and then I decorated that room with all kinds of dark furniture for him, and he loved it. And now I'm like, okay, cool. It's nice to know that I don't have to do like Animal Crossing where you have a set number of rooms, and if you want to redecorate and do something differently, you have to remove all the furniture from the room and then put new furniture in and completely redecorate. Here, you can just add a room, so you don't have to redecorate. You can just add a room, add a new floor, or add a room, and then decorate that. And then you have multiple rooms. So I might end up making like an arcade room or like a Frozen room or something, whatever. I could make all kinds of different rooms with all the different weird furniture that I have, and that would be fun. So I don't know how much decorating I'm gonna actually do. This one was for a story quest for the character, but we'll see. But it was nice to know that okay, I don't have to redecorate. I could just add a new room. That was nice. The game is not super helpful about telling you things like that. And also I was able to add the room easily enough, but then trying to use the elevator to actually get to the 2nd floor, I was like, how do I do this? And I pushed a button and suddenly I was there. I was like, okay, I'm not really sure what I did, but okay, thank you for getting me up there. And then, because I haven't been playing a lot of that, because of course, just like last episode, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And and I've discovered even more new things that they have added. I keep talking about all the stuff they've added to this game, the sequel, and I ran into this big alien who was like, oh, I love gardening, but this desert planet doesn't have a lot of plants. And Cal's like, hey, you should come to Kobo. And now she's the gardener. She's going to help me with the roof garden. I also ran into Scuba Stev, who is this little fish creature in a scuba outfit. And he's got a Scottish accent for some reason, which is kind of hilarious, and I enjoy it immensely. And I thought he was going to give you a fishing rod, and then there'd be a fishing mini game so you can fill your aquarium at the saloon. But no, he just catches them for you. So at certain points of the game, you'll find a body of water, and he'll be there. And then you talk to him, and he goes and gets the fish and then tells you a fun little story. And then he goes back to the saloon and adds that fish to the fish tank. So I'm like, okay, cool. The thing is that I'm not really sure what this is gonna do. I don't know how far I'm gonna go with this. I'm not really interested in gardening the whole rooftop. I don't know what that's gonna get me, and I'm sure that by the end of the game I'm gonna still be missing a couple of fish, and I don't know if it's worth going back to find them, because I don't know what the reward will be. If it's a good reward, a perk or a new power or skill, even skill points, I would be like, yes, I would like that, please, thank you. But if it's just going to give me a new lightsaber handle or a pair of pants or a haircut, I don't care, unless it's a really good haircut. Because I don't care about that stuff. I want something legit, and then it's worth the trouble. Because I'm not going to do it for the trophy either, because I don't care about trophies. But I have, because I keep finding things. I was in a Jedi temple doing the puzzle to get my reward, and then there was a chest, and I'm like, I think I know how to get to that chest, but it's kind of hard and annoying. Is it worth it to try to figure out how to get to that chest? And I looked online to see what it was, and it was just a lightsaber part, and I was like, no, I don't care about that. That's fine. I'm not going to go through the trouble and the stress. I'll just go. I don't need that. That wasn't interesting to me. Because I do like customizing. Not so much the lightsaber, because you customize the lightsaber and you pick the colors, and there's like the main color and then the accent color and then the other color, like secondary color, and it's like, no, because I try to match it to my outfit, but like when you're swinging it around in the game, you don't see the colors on the lightsaber unless it's like super garish, like bright blue or something. You're not going to see the colors on the lightsaber, so it's kind of pointless. I mean, I do customize Cal. I'm still wearing the long shaggy hair, but I found a pair of chaps, so I went and unlocked the sleeveless t-shirt because I felt like that was a good look with the chaps. And I played with that for a while, and then I found a Jedi robe, and I was like, oh, do I have pants that would look good with a Jedi robe? And sure enough, I actually had Jedi pants already. I don't know where they came from, but I must have found them at some point. I don't remember. So I was able to put together a nice little Jedi outfit, which is fun. Cal looking like an actual Jedi. Though I'll probably unlock some new cool jacket that I'll be like, oh, now I want to look like this, you know. I keep changing his look. It's fun. I do also want to mention that I changed in the settings. I mentioned this when I first started playing the game, that I went into the settings and I turned off the fall damage because I fell and I lost a chunk of health, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I'm so glad that I turned it off, because the last couple of missions that I've done have been nothing but platforming. I don't remember this much platforming in the first one, though I'm sure there was. It's just insane platforming, where it's like, oh my god, and I would fall a lot. So thankfully I'm not dying because my health keeps going like this because I keep falling. So thank you for giving me that setting. That is helping me a great deal, because you have the double jump and the wall run and all that, and I recently got the dash, basically, that gives you like an extra oomph, which can get you to that platform safely that you might not normally be able to jump to. And it also lets you jump through the green force fields. So now I can do some backtracking to try to get some stuff that I wasn't able to get because there was a green force field I couldn't get through. The other setting, there's another setting that I'm tempted by, which is the resetting all your skill points setting, because I've also unlocked a couple more lightsaber stances. You start with 3, and then you get a couple more, and now there's 5. I think that's all there is the 5, and you can only have 2 at a time, and you can switch between them in the middle of combat, and it's fine. But the problem is that one of the later ones with the blaster, because I wasn't sure, you get this thing where you can have a blaster in one hand and a lightsaber in the other, and I wasn't sure how I felt about being a Jedi with a blaster, because you're not really supposed to. In the game, even Cal is like, you're not supposed to use blasters, and but it's actually really helpful to have a nice distance attack like that. So I've been using it, but I basically had wasted skill points in the dual wield building that up, but now I want to use this. And I know that there is a setting where you can like reassign your skill points. You can basically like erase them and then like reassign them as you see fit. Because now I have skill points in a Jedi lightsaber stance that I'm not going to use. So it's sort of like, I'd like to take those and like put them in here. I haven't done that yet, because basically it doesn't make it do more damage really. It just sort of gives you extra abilities with that lightsaber stance. So I haven't reassigned my points yet. I feel like I'm going to stick with these 2 stances, but let's make sure before I reassign, because it's going to be annoying to do that, and I don't want to have to like do it again. So that was a lot. I'm going to shut up now, and you can come back next episode, and I will talk about some more Jedi Survivor and probably another movie, and who knows what else. Find out then. Bye!